Hello, thank you for joining us for Building Strong Communities. I'm Erica Manny, the Chief Executive Officer for the American Red Cross Central Appalachia region. I hope this show will provide you with vital information to keep you and your loved ones safe and help to build a strong and resilient community. The mission of the American Red Cross is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. The Red Cross aspires to turn compassion into action so that all people affected by disaster across the country and around the world receive care, shelter, and hope. Our communities are ready and prepared for disasters. Everyone has access to safe, life-saving blood and blood products. All members of our armed services and their families find support and comfort whenever needed. And in an emergency, there are always trained individuals nearby ready to use their Red Cross skills to save lives. Through this show, we'll provide you with critical, life-saving information for you, your family, and your community. The American Red Cross founder, Clara Barton, called the Angel of the Battlefield, aided to servicemen and risked her life to bring supplies and support soldiers in the field during the Civil War. When the Civil War began, Clara Barton, like many women, helped collect bandages and other needed supplies. But Clara soon realized that she could best support the troops by going in person and serving on the battlefield. After the Civil War, Clara traveled to Europe and learned about the Geneva, Switzerland-based Red Cross movement. And on May 21, 1881, Clara Barton founded the American Association of the Red Cross. The American Red Cross is committed to serve those who serve our nation, and our commitment never wavers. The relationship between the American Red Cross and the federal government is unique. We're an independent entity that is organized and exists as a nonprofit, tax-exempt, charitable institution pursuant to a charter granted by the United States Congress. Unlike other congressionally chartered organizations, the Red Cross maintains a special relationship with the federal government. We have the legal status of a federal instrumentality due to our charter requirements to carry out responsibilities dedicated and delegated to us by the federal government. Among these responsibilities are to fulfill the provisions of the Geneva Conventions, to which the U.S. is a signatory assigned to national societies for the protection of victims of conflict, to provide family communications and other forms of support to the U.S. military, and to maintain a system of domestic and international disaster relief, including mandated responsibilities under the National Response Framework coordinated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. Today, we'll focus on the Red Cross Service to the Armed Forces program that helps members of the military, veterans, and their families prepare for, cope with, and respond to the challenges of military service. We have a very special guest with us, Monet Shirley, Regional Program Specialist for the American Red Cross Service to the Armed Forces. Monet, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I wonder if you can talk to us today about our work with Service to the Armed Forces and our network.
Sure. With Service to the Armed Forces, domestically, throughout the country, there's about over 200 different chapters that work to help support military families and service members and veterans within the states. And then we also have overseas sites where we support active military as well.
So what are the core services offered through our Service to the Armed Forces program?
The first one I would say was our emergency communication services. It starts in the beginning when people enlist, and we want to start to educate the service members and their families about the emergency communication services that we provide. So if there ever is a situation at home that an emergency arises and they need to get a hold of their service members, we're able to take that message and verify it and then relay it to the service members' command so that they're better able to make decisions about leave.
How about critical community services?
Our critical community services are to help veterans and service members in the community that may need a little extra help with something that they need fixed on their house, or maybe help with an electric bill. We're able to help them access funds to alleviate those problems.
And wellness workshops, can you talk to us about those?
Yeah, our wellness workshops are a series of virtual or in-person workshops that are led by licensed behavioral health counselors, and they cover a variety of topics as stress relief, communication, and they also are geared towards military, family, and children as well. So we've got a variety of workshops to just help kind of reintroduce after deployments or to help kind of families kind of work together.
That's wonderful. And so coping skills, et cetera.
Exactly. Thank you.
Absolutely. So what do we do in the VA medical facilities?
The VA medical facilities, we help to find volunteers to help them run their program smoothly. So there's a variety of opportunities within the facilities. We would just have you become a Red Cross volunteer, and then we'll work with you to get you in the right place in the VA.
Do you have interaction with the veterans or patients in the VA facilities if you volunteer?
You
to do
definitely can. It depends on what position that you would be in, but they will definitely find positions that are ones that you would be interested in.
Great. And what about veteran benefit counseling work?
Yeah, so we do have veteran counselors. Their job is to help veterans access their benefits with the VA. Sometimes that can be a tricky game to play, for lack of better words, but they're able to help them guide through the system to help get the benefits that they deserve.
Thank you so much. And, some of the exciting new programs that we've been able to offer locally include our animal visitation program. Can you talk to us about that?
So we have our animal visitation program consists of certified therapy dogs and their handlers. So each team goes to the VA facility in Clarksburg, or we have also had visits to our veteran state home in Barbersville. And they're able to visit the veterans that stay in these facilities, and they've brought so much joy to the people that are able to visit with them, as well as family members and employees at these facilities. So we're looking to grow the program and be able to have visits at multiple VAs throughout the region. We've also been able to have them at some events as well throughout town.
So can you tell us what exactly your position with Service to the Armed Forces does?
Within the region, I help to strengthen the programs that we offer to the service members, and then I also do outreach so that way we can educate service members and their families about what we can give them if they do need help, whether it's our wellness workshops, whether it is assistance, if we're able to help access financial assistance for people if they need a little bit behind on bills. We can help work with them in those cases as well. So there's quite a few things that we can do within the region. With going abroad and deploying, we are mostly focusing on our emergency communication as well as our volunteer management. So we build a team of volunteers where we are deployed and they are able to help the service members on site as well.
Well, I'd love to dig into that a little because you are getting ready to have a deployment like that yourself, and we're really proud that our region has a leader like yourself going to Djibouti to help multiple branches of the service. Can you talk to us about what you're expecting from that experience and what you'll be doing?
Yeah, so we, again, deliver all the emergency messages to command while we're there, and then we are able to recruit volunteers, onboard them, train them, and manage them to help with all the service member on site. We are also in charge of business operations as far as like dispersing donations that are sent over from everywhere within the country, and our region is going to be shipping Christmas gifts over for our site during Christmas time. So all of those donations are dispersed throughout the site and surrounding sites as well. So we do that while we're there. And then we also do outreach for behavioral and mental health and wellness.
That's wonderful. And the Department of Defense relies upon the American Red Cross for the function of communicating information to command, as you discussed. Can you talk to us a little bit about, what kind of communications happen and what that process really looks like while you're on the ground with command and, with our military members overseas?
So it starts with our Hero Care Center. The family members that need to get a message to their service members, they would call the Hero Care Center and tell them what's going on. We'll have caseworkers then be able to verify that information and then dispatch it to people like me that will be deploying, and then we are able to deliver it to command, and that way they're, like I said, able to make decisions as far as leave. And then that way the service member's able to go home and be with their family for whatever the situation is.
So in addition to, making sure that those communications are happening, what other work do you think you'll be doing on the ground, in Djibouti while you're with the team?
Well, I hope that we are able to not only, create those really strong teams with our volunteers, but morale building is a lot of it as well. So we want to be able to create different situations and different nights of fun and everything to kind of lessen the stress of being deployed and being in a foreign situation. So we hope to create a bunch of different events for the service members to enjoy as well.
That's wonderful work. And, if somebody is interested in doing work like you're discussing right now and deploying to a base overseas and supporting in this way, do they, have the opportunity through the Red Cross to do something like this?
Yes, definitely. We really are trying to strengthen our international services. So there's definitely going to be opportunities for people to volunteer to deploy. The best way I would imagine to start would be to learn the casework. You start with your learning regional casework, and then you go up to the emergency communications. But when you're able to know and be able to be proficient in that, you're much more likely to be able to deploy, and they would definitely be interested in talking to anybody that's willing and wanting to do it.
I know right now we have a volunteer who's very interested, and so the process you're discussing is really intentional, that we would never send somebody without making sure
Correct.
they're really well trained.
Yeah.
So those opportunities to volunteer and even as a volunteer to deploy like you're talking about starts from the local volunteer opportunities that we have. Can you talk about what people can do locally as volunteers if they're interested?
Yeah, so you would start, if you wanted to start with casework here, we are able to educate service members' families when they first get into their enlistment. We talk to them about how to be prepared in case of emergency, and that way they know when something happens, they know how to get a hold of us, what the process is, and they don't have to think too much of it. They already know what to do. So it starts with that. And if we have service members locally that do need help, we have our critical services casework. And so you just kind of go through these steps of casework and build your way up to the emergency communication casework, and then you would be able to go through to deployment.
Well, that's fantastic, and I imagine there are people who will be really interested in volunteering both locally to help our service members, veterans and their families, as well as potentially doing a deployment like you're talking about. And I know that even your husband has been inspired to become a volunteer because of the work that you do. And so what kind of work does he do as a volunteer?
He helps with the events that we have locally. So he'll come and help me set up and tear down, but he also talks to people about the volunteer opportunities that we have and the services that we can help provide to service members. We've been to quite a few National Guards and different events throughout the region, so he's enjoyed his time so far as well.
Well, that's wonderful. And people can get involved in so many different ways with service to the armed forces at the Red Cross. And, you mentioned holiday cards and gifts that you're going to be working with overseas. We actually have a program right here for the holidays. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, right now now we are collecting donations for our Holiday for Heroes program. We collect comfort items such as toiletries, holiday cards, puzzles, games, crossword puzzle books, and we disperse them to all of our VA facilities and to our veteran state homes. So they are able to get a little holiday gift and some supplies that'll help them throughout their following months. We do have a couple things that are a little bit harder to get than normal. So if you are willing or wanting to donate, just cards, the puzzle books, like nail files, nail trimmers, and then the actual holiday bags that we pack everything in. So it's going to get overlooked sometimes. So those would be really good items that we could use for this program.
Wonderful. If people want to donate items, how can they best get a hold of us to learn how to, get involved or even drop them off?
Yeah, you can just call our local office at 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Wonderful. Well, we hope people will want to, get involved. That's such an easy way for members of the public who really want to get to know the program a little better to, do something good and dip their toes in to Red Cross volunteerism. So there's also, if people want to get involved maybe from a little bit of a distance, what's the Hero Care app? How do we work with that?
The Hero Care app is something that we recommend for the service members' families and service members to download to their phones. That way they have all of our information just at their fingertips. So if an emergency does come up or they do need some assistance, they're not having to scramble to find our phone number or scramble to find any of their information. It's just all in one place. And they're able to contact the Hero Care Network. They're able to contact their local Red Cross as well. So it's just somewhere to have all of your information at once, in one spot.
Great. Is there anything else that you think people should know about the Service to the Armed Forces or International Services program?
I really think that it's been special to me to work with this line of service because I had so many people, service members and veterans alike, come up to me and tell me different stories about how the Red Cross has helped them through their military career or even afterwards. So I know that it's made a big impact locally, and I'm really happy to be able to kind of expand this position to be able to work with international as well. But it's just very important to have the community come together and help support the military community in our region.
Well, thank you for all you're doing, Monet, and for joining us. And at this time, we're going to take a quick break and come back after these messages.
Hey, here's your chance to make a difference. You never know who you might be helping. It could be a friend or a family member who needs blood. And that's why it's so important. It's really amazing. Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. And that just shows the urgency. The first time I gave blood, I really felt proud. I was scared, but with the American Red Cross, you got nurses there. They can hold your hand. They can sort of get you through it because as a macho football player, I was always afraid of needles. I never thought I would have the opportunity to play professional football. And I played it for a long time, for over 20 years. Man, what a ride. It's been so much fun. And, just to be able to be a role model, to be able to give back off the football field with the American Red Cross is something that I'll never forget. I really felt proud after I gave blood. Visit redcrossblood.org to make an appointment to give.
Welcome back. Today we're focusing on the Service to the Armed Forces program at the American Red Cross. This is how the Red Cross was founded, on the battlefield. We continue to have a commitment to making sure that we can serve those who serve our country. Next, we'll put a focus on how our Red Cross Animal Visitation Program serves those who serve our country.
We walk into the lobby or the waiting room or a patient's room, everybody smiles. There's so much stress and so much going on in the world today that it's so nice to just see people smile and just see people let down their guard for a second. And dogs can do that where people can't. Diggory is a 7-year-old male Limburger. Back in April of 2020, he was diagnosed with bone cancer and had to have his leg taken off. Some of the wounded warriors do really connect with him when they realize that he is an amputee, getting to see that he still gets around and there is that connection.
The volunteer dogs, they come in and people walk up and you can see the change as soon as they get around the dogs and just start interacting, and it just makes the rest of the day easier. It makes the physical therapy, the mental health, the surgeries, the hospitalizations, it makes it easier, makes it better. It's like having a weight lifted.
The people here are so important for what they've done and sacrificed, and you can just see how much happier they become and how much comfort these dogs give them in trying times. My husband and I are both veterans. My husband was also treated here as a patient, and so we also wanted to give back in another way. Dogs do love and do care. They don't look at anything else, they just see someone who needs them, and they go right to that person and just unconditionally love them.
Our next video will show you why you should feel inspired to work for and volunteer for our Service to the Armed Forces program at the American Red Cross.
Well, right now I am deployed, getting ready to move into Milice, Poland.
I'm going to be deployed to Romania.
I've been at MK Air Base in Romania.
I was in Lithuania for
About 4 months.
It's an amazing opportunity to give back.
To me, it's just an adventure, it's a challenge.
This organization itself is a really good home for veterans.
When I retired from the Army, I really missed the bonds that you create while you're in the military. There are no bonds like it.
and I want to give back. I know what it is to be in the service. I know what it is to be away from home.
As a military spouse, when I saw the opportunity for the job posted, it seemed like it was the perfect opportunity for me to see the other side of deployments. We were able to incorporate just some of the fun, unique ways of bringing America to our soldiers that are there.
To give them activities in their off time.
Whether it's just sitting down and talking about home.
We'll try and put on activities, whether it be a bingo night,
We would have a game night, either bingo or trivia.
a fun run.
We had movie nights, popcorn showings, a lot of holiday events.
I organized a huge weightlifting competition.
Tailgate party for, the Super Bowl.
Maybe a cooking class.
In Iraq, I baked cookies.
We celebrated National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Trying to make it a little bit more like home.
We just want to make it a little bit easier for them. Part of our job as Red Cross SAF is that we deliver emergency message communication.
I try to imagine, what it would be like to be 7,000, 8,000 miles away from a family member. And you get a message that someone is gravely ill.
So I've been there where a guy gets a call and they need to be home for their mother or their grandmother or their father or whoever is closest to them, and they'd like to see them either before they pass or in the moments that they're needed most.
We are able to create the opportunity for these service members to receive these messages, receive their leave, and get home as quickly as possible because of it. You have to be fluid. You have to be positive.
I think it takes someone that is flexible and tolerant of when things don't go exactly as planned.
If you don't mind living uncomfortably for a few months, if you embrace that challenge.
Some of the areas that we live in are very, very basic. I mean, I'll be living on a bunk bed in a tent on my base.
Be ready to have a great time and enjoy the ride.
The main thing is just to have a heart of service.
Because we all know that at the end of the day, the mission is to take care of people.
So this job has been something that has meant so much to me.
It's about being a part of your community.
My heart feels full because I know I changed lives, and that's
To learn how you can get involved or how to help, please call us locally at 1-844-216-8286 or visit redcross.org/CAR. Text the word Red Cross to 90999 to provide a $10 donation. And you can also follow us on social media at Red Cross CAR. Thank you for joining us.